Stay wider of rider for me means that you need to give your rider a bit of gap in order to navigate through the narrow passages that we have on the roads. It's unfortunate that we have to share the roads with motorists as well as taxi drivers and of course other road users, but yeah, please give us a gap. When cycling out on the roads, I do tend to feel a little bit exposed in that it's an uncontrolled environment. You're dealing with so many other elements, potholes, taxis that are stopping immediately. You might even have also animals as well as pedestrians, let alone vehicles. So it is constantly a challenge, and one has to be continuously very much so aware of what's happening around you to be able to navigate through the drama. I think cyclists and motorists, they have a relationship that's like cat and dog, as one might say. As a driver myself, I know I'm guilty of it at one stage. You just see a cyclist, you don't really notice him, and you just end up just going close to them. You don't give them enough room to be able to, be comfortable and be at ease. And I think that's something that needs to be sorted out. Also, cyclists, sometimes we tend to just hog the road for no reason instead of, riding in single file. And I think in essence, we just need to all learn to use the road together as, members of the community and as cyclists as well as motorists. I believe cyclists do have the right to be on the road. However, they need to use the road in a friendly manner. As in terms of rules wise, that if you're all riding as a group, you ride single file, and obviously when it does allow, you can actually open up. That's in a controlled environment that's a bit more safe and with less traffic. But at the same time, to the motorists as well, all I would say is please give us a bit of a gap. If you do see a group of cyclists or a cyclist, just move slightly to the right, and if the lane on the other side is open, move even more, and that way we all be happy and honky-dory. To be honest with you, I don't think 1 meter is enough safe passing distance. But if you think about it, if you're cycling and you don't know what's actually coming behind you, there's something, and a big truck just goes past you, the backdraft that comes out of that actually can throw you off completely, and even the sound of the vehicle itself. So I think, in essence, we wish we could have a bigger gap, and that is why I'm appealing to motorists to either rather slow down, give us a moment until such time there's a gap also on oncoming traffic where you can actually go more to their lane slightly and then come back to your ordinary direction of travel. I think my advice to motorists as well as my advice to motorists as well as cyclists is that, guys, we're using the road together. Let us be courteous and show a little bit of Ubuntu. Share the environment that we're living in, and give each other the gaps that we need to in order to be all safely back at home with our families after a ride or a drive on the road. Government has a responsibility towards motorists, so therefore it also has a responsibility to anyone that's actually making use of the road. That is, such things like potholes need to be sorted out, and ensuring that there is a big enough emergency lane where it warrants and where there's an opportunity of doing so and spreading the road, and of course giving us cyclists a bit of an area to be able to ride within. But at the same time, it's not just about cyclists, it's also about pedestrians as well. So we all have to work together, and the government has to ensure that the facilities that we are making use of are up to standard and are in good working condition and safe to operate in. From a safe cycling point of view, I think education is the key. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are out there that are riding on the roads from either the informal settlements or from a place of work going home, and they don't know the rules of the road, whether to cycle on the left side of the road or ahead or facing the traffic on the right hand side. So one needs to educate them, but at the same time, things such as helmets need to be worn, lights need to be put on the bikes, one needs to be wearing visible clothing and have reflectors around as well. That all helps in terms of aiding the driver and the motorist who's driving either in front of you or behind, be able to see you and know that you are there and have a presence. So I think the safest thing is be present and be mindful of what's happening around you, but at the same time, and more importantly, be visible. Well, my understanding of international best practices when it comes to cycling as well as using the road is that the cyclist is king. You look at Europe, I've traveled in Europe, and I've seen that the motorist has to yield for the cyclist at all times. Whoever's on a bicycle is the one that's more fragile, and which is fair because we don't have a cocoon that's keeping us safe. So to the motorists out there, please give us a gap, either yield. And what is a short little time to basically yield and give us an opportunity to go through safely and get home to our loved ones or work or wherever we're traveling to. So in other words, give us a bit of a gap. The cyclist is very fragile at the moment. I cycle because I love the freedom of being out there in the outdoors and feeling the wind rush through my helmet and my little dreadlocks, and basically just feeling the sun kissing my face, you know. It's something I do for fitness, it's something I do for leisure. It's a good way of mixing up and meeting people, and yeah, it's just for the passion of being fit and having a blast.